So today we're going to be adding a new country into World War II. It's this big red one right here. I'm here with my friend and he's going to introduce you to this new country.
Buckets Elite here. So this country, Lacostean, is our new country added to World War II. It is very powerful, about the same as fascist Italy in most sections. With a population of 42 million people and 4.8 active personnel, we rank 10th and 6th respectively in the world, making Lacostean a global power in World War II. So, adding to its strength, Lacostean has a GDP of 125 billion US dollars, making it 10th in the world.
And we're actually going to be seeing how this country will do in World War II. We currently have them on the Axis because, they took a lot of land from Allied countries and they probably wouldn't like that. So we put them on the Axis because there's a lot of Axis countries around them and we just wanted to.
Yeah.
And so our country is actually going to be starting by pairing up with Romania to cut off the Soviet Union from the Black Sea, which they do so quite successfully. We'll also notice that we already have a lot of stuff that happened pre-World War II already drawn out. Probably not correctly, don't yell at me for that in the comments.
So with our country's location around the Black Sea and the Mediterranean, they start to invade western parts of Turkey to gain more access to the Mediterranean and fortify its borders towards their key cities.
Yeah, they're going to be working with the Balkan countries to take out Greece, Turkey. I know Turkey wasn't actually in World War II on the Allies, but they just got half their country taken over, so they
got mad.
But Yugoslavia will fall, so will Greece. And eventually Istanbul, or wasn't it Constantinople still at this time?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Something like that. But once that falls, Turkey surrenders. Eventually Crete is taken, so Greece is gone.
And with our newfound power in the Mediterranean area, the eastern part of it, we have lots of our soldiers located in the southwestern part of our country. So with that, Egypt is part of the Allies, so we're going to start invading Egypt to gain most of that population and juicy resources that are located in northern Egypt.
Yeah. And Italy might not do so bad on the African front this time, as we all know, they did not do good. But Egypt is just a desert, so we're going to be pushing down the Nile where all their population is, something like that. And then the desert surrenders, all the camels and stuff.
All the camels.
Yeah.
And teaming up with Italy, we start pushing more south to gain access to the whole Red Sea. We want to take over all of that port access and make sure we have all of the ports along the Red Sea, which gives us a strategic advantage.
We also push into French and British Somaliland, Somaliland, and those capitulate within a matter of days.
And with no surprise of our aggressive actions, we decide to invade the Middle East because of its rich oil resources and its area, I guess. You can have more area, which our leader, LeBron James, very much likes.
LeBron James? Oh yeah, that's what the little thing is for in their name.
Yeah.
How about that?
Lacoste stand for LeBron James.
We're gonna have to make a flag, and it'll pop on the screen here. I don't know if you guys can see that. It'll be there.
So we start invading into modern day Saudi Arabia, and
so yeah, that brings Saudi Arabia into the Allies then. Just making more enemies, that's always a good thing.
But with our newfound success and the aid of Iraq and Italy and parts and some of Germany, we push down, taking lots of oil, and the Allies decide to not help because they're stupid and don't help. So we take everything, basically.
We just sent all our military here.
Yeah. No need for defense, just full on taking everything. We take the neutral part too, because we are a fascist country, so we do not care about others.
We take over North Yemen. And then, how's it going in Europe?
Well, Germany starts to invade, takes out France, turns it into...
Yeah, it's not going good.
Yeah, turns it into Vichy France, puppet states.
And they just take over all of it. Norway and Denmark are already gone. And we've already started to push into the Soviet Union. but Moscow is right here, and well, if we can just push it out from our country.
Yeah, with our newfound success, teaming up with Germany and our country, Lakostan, we pushed the Soviet Union deep into Moscow's borders. And eventually, after hard fighting and intense wars and battles, we finally take Moscow and the Soviet Union surrenders to Lakostan and Germany.
Yeah, like Moscow's like right there, and so after many months, eventually it does fall, and the Soviet Union is kind of screwed. Japan would probably be doing better, not gonna bomb Pearl Harbor this time, because that went well from the last time, right?
So yeah, Japan's doing its thing. South China Sea, they do invade the eastern part of Russia. Well, in this time it's the USSR. Yeah.
Take over British Malaysia and begin to push into Dutch East Indies, Australia. They better watch out. They take over Sri Lanka and begin to make a landing in the British Raj. I know it wasn't called Sri Lanka at that time, but whatever.
So, Soviet Union in shambles now, and most of its military trapped on the Eastern Front. The Western Front is pushed in, and they finally capture the Soviet Union. So,
keep in mind that a lot of the central area doesn't actually have troops in them. It's just
area.
They
more resources.
And with that, that's actually going to force most of the Allied forces in the Middle East and Asia just to surrender, as well. One of the most powerful countries in the world just surrendered. So yeah, you don't really stand a chance anymore. Everybody just kind of surrenders in Asia, and it's looking good for the Allies, right?
Yeah, no. So with this newfound terror around the world, most other countries decide to join in on the side of the Allies. So most of the South American countries, the rest of Africa, and the Iberian Peninsula and Sweden also join in on the side of the Allies. But not Ireland, because Ireland is still salty about getting invaded by the UK.
Yeah, they don't like the UK apparently. Actually, because Spain was fascist at this time too. I'm actually going to put them on the axis because...
Okay, but Portugal joins the Allies.
Yeah, they got that long time.
Yeah, the rest of the world, allies with the UK and Canada, and with this newfound terror, brings the US into the war. So
they don't want to see the fall of democracy and the creation of a new world order. And actually, some of these countries in Asia probably aren't going to join the Allies because when you're surrounded, so it'd be kind of stupid to do that, honestly.
So, yeah. Now it's basically the only parts that are still contested is basically Africa, because the only European countries are Portugal, the UK, and Sweden. Well, first Sweden gets fully demolished because it is entirely surrounded. It's donezo. Switzerland falls too, and Portugal, because they're all surrounded from all the countries. But they spare the UK for now, because the UK still has a powerful air force and navy.
But there are lots of naval battles taking place in the sea. And so now we're taking a look at the navy here. The UK isn't doing that good. They're being pushed back, and the combined might of all of Europe's navy isn't going to hold back very well. So
the Axis start to invade the northern part of Great Britain, easily taken because there's not much population up there, and Ireland takes its revenge and takes
Ireland falls, and they actually do make a landing in Scotland, which is surprising to me.
Fierce resistance makes a stop to advancements around the border of Scotland and England.
They do secure the waters on the eastern side, though, and begin to push into this bay area. I'm not sure if that is a bay, but yeah.
Well, the rest of the world will let the UK fall because they don't care about the UK. Colonialism kind of ruined the world for
the
100,
Philippines fall.
100, 200 years.
Japan takes over the Philippines just as they did, and eventually Indonesia falls, and Papua New Guinea. And they make a landing in Australia, which I don't think they did in real life.
But the US comes to help Australia, and New Zealand joins in too, and they push back and recapture Indonesia and that Southeast Asian countries.
But Japan's holding strong. They're not conscripting from China and India, where there's a lot of population.
But with that large population comes revolts. So, over the course of many months, Indians and Chinese residents will start to revolt against the Japanese rule and will start to retake back their land of the mass population areas, which will foreshadowing potentially might backfire the Japanese.
So yeah, there's lots of different rebel groups, but these are being pushed back by Japan because rebels aren't going to be as strong as an actual military, right? They'll begin to kind of just be cut up because, again, like, Japan isn't actually occupying all of this land. They're occupying all the land along the coast to be able to push back along here, but some of these other ones inland will be able to do a lot better. Spain begins to push into Morocco, as well as into northern Algeria and Tunisia.
And with over time, the UK finally falls after not having enough resources from all of its key ports getting blocked off by blockades, and falls under the fascist regime. So all of the Allied powers signed a pact to rebel against the imperialist Japan, Germany, and Lecoistan and Italy.
So the world is now united, which is kind of weird since everybody usually hates each other, but they love each other now and they don't want this new order to take over. But a lot of people forget that this is Siberia, and so Japan actually makes a landing in Alaska, which is not good for North America, obviously.
But is repelled back because of the American soldiers, and they get pushed out of North America, and actually the Allied powers push into Asia and start taking some of Siberia again.
They forgot the world was round, so they forgot they could do this, but they remembered now, so now they can do it.
And the plan for the US is to liberate the key areas of the Soviet Union, so they start from the north and start making their way down to liberate their forgotten ally. In secrecy, because Japan is stupid and does not know that they're landing close to their borders and taking over key areas. So finally Japan notices that they're extremely close to their border, so they launch a counterattack to the contested area there.
And they actually managed to take back a lot of area. But the US gets mad, and I mean, we all know what happened in World War II.
Yeah, late.
2 nukes are dropped on Japan, and a third one on Tokyo, because they want to make sure that Japan stops. So yeah, now that Japan got nuked, very weak, because all their population was targeted, and so they won't be able to hold on to this, and the US and the Allies will be able to push back in Asia and take back a lot of this land.
A lot of the eastern parts of Asia,
The Soviet
China.
Union, and I don't think they'll really push into Siberia because who wants to go there?
Yeah, they will just take over the main populations of China, and eventually, after little resistance from Japanese soldiers, they will take back all of Korea and most of China and India. Most of that southeastern Asian land, including the British Raj.
And it is now that we're actually going to see some previously neutral countries begin to leave the war, especially if they're on the Axis, because they don't want to be invaded. And so we actually see a lot of countries leave because they're going to be smart. So after liberating almost all of Asia, both sides are going to eventually try to do up a peace treaty, because, I don't know. Do you think they would now?
They would for many years until the Cold War happens, and there will be lots of proxy wars between both sides like there was in the actual Cold War, which in the end will end up having nuclear Armageddon on the entire world, and the world will blow up in the long run.
Sounds about right. Okay, so here is a very horrible peace treaty. I usually do a lot better, but we're gonna have to end the recording here. So Germany gets all of northern France, Benelux, Denmark, Norway. Ireland gets Northern Ireland. UK is probably a puppet of Germany, if not they're annexed. Spain gets Portugal. Spain gets Portugal, Andorra, and this part of France. And Italy gets the other half of France and this part of Yugoslavia. And you can pretty much see how it's all divided up. But the main focus is our country. We get all of Turkey, southern Russia, northern Saudi Arabia, a good chunk out of Egypt and Sudan, and yeah. So we thank you guys for watching.
But in the peace treaty, the last line indicates that you must subscribe to Buckets Elite and Sadbird234.
I think most of you watching are already subscribed to me, but if you're not, you better be. But yes, it's in the peace treaty. You all better go subscribe to my friend's channel. He just started. He does some pretty cool gaming stuff and also geography and history. I know how much you guys like some of that stuff, so go check out his channel. We might do some more videos in the future, so let us know some ideas. And we might do some more stuff on his channel, so go check it out. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.